I defeated the winds. Just did this until next winter. I'll get new doors put on there and have my extension cord. It's great that the electricity is in the workshop because I pull the truck in here and I plug it in. And the reason I did that now was because this week it got down to 9 degrees. So if it goes under 15, I'll plug it in. It depends on whoever you ask. When do they plug their truck or car in? Everybody gives you a different answer. Some people say once it reaches 20. Some people say not until it reaches minus temperatures. I went through the truck last winter, and for me, it seems like it prefers to be plugged in once it goes under 15. So that's what I'm doing. This is just a bunch of stuff I took out for the yard sale next year. And I have a lot more in the closets in the house. I'll take that out next year. I also made the mistake. I put a couple of bags of trash out here because I'm not driving to the dump anymore this winter. And the squirrels had a feast. Everything was all over the place. So I threw it into here and I put the other bags in the shed where they'll have more trouble getting into, and if they want to get into it, I don't care if they make a mess there. Now, I received a comment in one of my videos. I don't know if it was a month ago or even 2 months ago. Someone wrote, they weren't a regular viewer. They just wrote, "You're not like most Alaskans I know." And I'm guessing what the person was referring to is I'm not someone who's chopping down trees and taking lumberjack up in my free time. I don't really know. But it made me think, what exactly is a typical Alaskan? And I think that person said they've been here their whole life. Now, I don't really always believe what everybody writes in the comments, especially the people who are not regular viewers, because, you know, people like to say something, sometimes not so nice, and then they're just going to make it sound like they know what they're talking about. Where I think we've all learned through life, most people don't really know what they're talking about. They just talk. People like to think that they know everything, and they like to give everyone the impression they know everything. But reality is we're all pretty dumb. And most of the time, we really don't know what we're talking about. We're just trying to impress other people, especially in YouTube comments. I think in real life, people are much more honest, you know, much more, they're not trying to mislead people as much. And really, it did make me think, you know, what's the typical Alaskan? I know many Alaskans who don't fish. I know many Alaskans who don't have snowmobiles. In fact, most of them don't. You know, there's not really a definition for what's the typical Alaskan. I think what I do in my videos, I'm very honest. And what I mean by that is, if I don't know how to do something, I'm not afraid to say I'm clueless. And first of all, it makes the videos a little more fun for me. It also gives you guys a little bit more about what I'm going through. And it's not like there are things that you can't do. But I kind of like sharing when I'm learning how to do stuff, or like when I'm axing down the first tree. Even if I'm doing everything wrong, I don't know what I'm doing, I just have fun making this video and sharing it with you. It doesn't matter if you want to move to Alaska, where you're from, and it doesn't matter if you're from the deserts of Arizona. If you want to come to Alaska, you're going to have fun, you're going to survive, as long as you don't do something stupid, and you're going to manage to get by. It's not like another world. You know, it's a little different, but mainly because of the weather. And even the weather, Like today, it's 30 degrees. It feels really comfortable outside after 4 days of 11 and 12 degrees. So your body adjusts very quickly to everything, even if you're not used to it. And the things that you can't do, you're either going to know people who are going to be happy to, come by and help you, or you're going to figure out how to do them. There's nothing going to be major. The worst thing that can happen to me this winter, let's say, is the stove not working anymore, as well as the pipes freezing. If the pipes freeze, there's nothing much anybody can do about that if they were living here. I have to see how the pipes work through the winter. Now, I'm not really concerned about the pipes because the guy who lived here, even though I think he was here for 20 years, he only stayed for 2 winters. And in the winter time, he usually went to Colorado. And another 2 years, someone rented out the house from him. So I don't really have a concern with the pipes. I know in the bathroom, there's a switch where I can turn on the heat pads that are on the pipes under the house. If the water, as I was told, if the water isn't draining fast enough in the sink or the bathtub. So up until now, even when it was 9 degrees, it was fine. I'm a little concerned with when it gets to minus 20 or minus 30, but there's nothing I can do. I'll just see what happens. And as far as the stove goes, worst case scenario, that stops working, and I'll post on Facebook and anybody come by and look at this. My friend might will come by and look at it. So I don't really think if anything happens, it won't be major. The most major thing will be the pipes, and hopefully they don't freeze, but I'm not really that concerned with it right now. I might be more concerned in January when it's minus 20. But right now, everything is great with the house. I don't worry about any trees falling from the wind hitting the house. Most of them, like I said in previous videos, are not really close enough to the house where, you need a lot of bad luck for that to happen. Also, someone suggested I cut down the trees all around the house. I'm not going to do that because then I might as well just buy a house in a normal neighborhood with 2 trees. So that I'm not going to do. If there was a tree that was looking like it was in danger of falling, then I would have it cut down. But now everything looks fine outside. And the cats are completely comfortable. That would be Shaka. Still don't know their name. Knows its name now. She's the smaller one, more timid for certain things. But it's funny, this is Khan, and she's much more hyper, but she's also a bit timid with things that Shaka is not timid with. For example, she doesn't always feel great about my hand coming and petting her. She only wants it if she comes to me. And usually the wild ones are more, willing to, or not as timid. I have another one of these coming, trying to get them to use these. They really like this. Unfortunately, these are so cheaply made that you see they fall apart pretty quickly. But they're cheap, and I'll probably get a couple more of those. So I guess just to end this video, going back to what's the typical Alaskan, I don't really think there is the definition of a typical Alaskan. You have the burly guys, you have the burly girls, but you also have the, normal looking, the thinner people like me, or the people who really don't get their hands dirty. Not everybody knows how to fix cars here. Not everybody knows how to build a cabin. Things you tend to believe because you hear so much about it. It's, just not the way reality is in Alaska. There's a lot of people like me who either moved here and they just don't really enjoy chopping down trees or fixing things with all their tools. And there's other people I've met who have lived here their whole lives and they don't even know how to work a hammer. It's not the way I think most Alaskans are portrayed in videos or on TV. So am I a typical Alaskan? I guess no. By someone else's definition, I'm not. But I don't feel out of place here. I feel like I'm pretty much like 50% of the population. Not into hunting or chopping down trees, although I did enjoy chopping down the tree. And the last thing I'll say is in the wintertime, it is a little difficult to come up with ideas to make videos. The next video, I'm going to show some of the stuff that I got from you, for eBay to sell. And I try to come up with some things to do, but when it's 9 degrees outside, I don't want to go out and make a video. And when I'm busy, doing my eBay stuff and doing work's been busy the last few days. And then all of a sudden I realize I don't have any videos to make. So I'm just going to make a video and blabber some. And that's what I did today. And I'll just make a quick eBay video to show some stuff because nothing really happens during the winter time here. It's snowing. I can make videos every time it snows. But it's difficult to come up with ideas in the winter time for the YouTube channel. And that's why every Friday I put out videos of me just talking about something. And then I try to put out 2 videos every week of me on camera or showing something around the house. And if they get a little boring, I'm sorry. I try to make them interesting. This one definitely is not one of my best, but I'm going to stop here because the cats want to eat and they're chasing each other around.